Well, I know we're going to have more folks joining us here, but it is the top of the hour, and we really want to maximize our time today to share what we're able to share and open up for conversation where we can. So I'm going to go ahead and join in. I'm sure we will have more joining us here. Um, but most importantly, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to jump in for a Women's Giving Circle on the Bright Side. I'm Bree Applebaum Kula. I am the vice chair of the steering committee, and I have several teammates here today, as well as we welcome members of the Dwell Orphan Care, Maryland Land and Waterways Conservancy, and Smile to share some information with you today. But just before I get started, let's remind ourselves of who we are and why we're here. The Women's Giving Circle was formed by the Community Giving Foundation, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to round up, women across the valley to fulfill the mission of empowering, connecting, and inspiring women and girls by supporting initiatives and resources that better their lives. And so that's exactly what we're here to round up today. Hopefully, we can empower by learning new information and connect with new ideas and inspire all of you as you go out and finish out your week strong. Just uplift and spread awareness of all the good things happening in our valley. So, with that being said, I'm the introduction, but I do not want to stand in the way of getting to our groups. I will just do one thing because I can't see all of you and I want to see your pretty faces. So let me do this. Aha, you're back. So it is wonderful to see so many join us. We are recording this so that those that weren't able to accommodate this into their schedule or want to reflect back for the information can. Also, just lay a few ground rules here. We want this to be as engaging and interactive as our group here can make it. We are going to give our organizations, we have Vicki, Becky, and Jen here today to introduce our organizations. We're going to give them each probably about 10-15 minutes or so to explain, who they are, what their mission is, what do they have coming up on the horizon, and how we could help as a group collectively. And while they're presenting, just offer the resource out there of we have a chat set up. And if you think of something resonates with you, or you think of a tip or a trick that you would like to share with the greater good here, or a resource or link, please utilize that chat. We're going to save that and help spread those resources as well. And then just so that you know, after we have our presenters speak, we do intend to open it up to a greater discussion. I really want to engage with you and say, well, what's on your mind? What did you learn or want to expand on, or maybe have another idea to add to the mix? We are hoping to have these as regular roundups of just saying,
Right
on the
now,
bright side, we
my
have a lot
brain
of
has
cool things
nothing to
going
add
on.
to whatever you're
How
going
can
to
we
talk.
share and create a ripple effect? So without further ado here, I am going to start the introduction of our speakers. And again, please use the chat. If you have questions or ideas along the way, we will be monitoring that. And I will first introduce Jen Lake comes to us from our Dwell Orphan Care program across the valley. And I've had the pleasure of getting to know Jen and her team lately, and I just can't wait for you to learn more about what she's doing. And again, please feel free to interact with any questions you might have, and we'll have that SharePoint at the end. Welcome, everybody, and welcome, especially Jen. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to hang out with you all. As Bree said, I'm Jen, and I run Dwell Orphan Care. We typically just call ourselves Dwell, but Dwell exists to support and encourage foster, adoptive, and kinship families throughout Central PA while we mobilize and equip the community and the local church so that children have a safe, loving, forever home in which to dwell. In short, we like to say that we empower families to heal vulnerable children. We do that in a whole bunch of different ways. Dwell started in 2019. I actually had the privilege of starting Dwell, and the way we got started and why I started it is a very much longer story than 10 minutes. So maybe that's coffee with one of you for another time if you're interested in hearing about that. Um, but typically when children enter care, they come with nothing but the clothes on their backs. If they do have anything, it's often carried in a trash bag. And we say that's not okay. I haven't met anybody that thinks it is okay, but we know a lot of people who perhaps don't really know what to do about that or how to be involved and change that story. And so we opened what we call the Hope Chest. We have a Hope Chest location in Lycoming County, and we have one in Columbia County as well. And the Hope Chest serves children as they enter care through that very first kind of initial placement when they come with nothing. So we provide a new duffel bag with their name on it, 2 weeks worth of clothing. All clothing is either new or like new. We provide new shoes, new socks, underwear, pajamas, hygiene kits, bedding, comfort items, really whatever that child needs. And car seats, cribs, it just depends. It depends on the individual child or sibling group. And then we also provide a care package for that entire family. So we know that foster care impacts the entire family, not just that child that's in care, and not just the parents who are being resource parents, but the entire family unit. So when we provide a care package, we're including things in that care package that are really meant to enhance attachment and provide a little bit of respite and fun for that family. So we have a conversation with the foster family. The parents typically learn a little bit more about their family and the situation, and then we include things in that care package that are really tailored to what would be fun for the kids in that home. So everybody gets something, and then we bring that to that family's home. So we eliminate the need for them to have to come and pick it up and put all the kids in the car. And we try to eliminate as many barriers as possible. We also provide dinner for them that night upon placement. On average, a child in care will move about 4 times in their first year of placement, which is a lot of transition. And on average, the average foster parent will quit after their first placement or within a year of being licensed. About 50% of them will do that. So we really wanted to help build capacity. When we feel loved and nurtured and cared for, we have greater capacity to love and nurture and care for those in our home, we say for the littles and the bigs. So that's one program that we do. Then we have parent support groups. So foster, adoptive, and kinship parents can be together, and we've got in-person support groups and virtual support group that meet every month. We have that going on. And then I'm a trauma specialist, and several of my team are trained in trauma-informed care, a specific model called trust-based relational intervention, a little bit of a mouthful, or TBRI. And TBRI is a therapeutic approach to helping kids from hard places. And so we teach TBRI caregiver training on a regular basis. We just finished up 2 cohorts. Actually, we trained about 20 or 21 caregivers in our trauma model, which is amazing because then they have greater capacity to help those children in their home. And then we have an adoption grant program as well. So for families that are adopting domestic and international adoption, so not through foster care, it's a very financially costly experience. And so a few years ago, we opened an adoption grant program. And to date, we've been able to grant a little over $56,000 in adoption grants to help 8 children come home to their forever families. So that's amazing. That's been a joy to see those kids and families. Yeah, and in the new year, we're looking to start a birthday program for kids in care. So we have a lot going on, and I have an amazing team. We've got, like I said, an office here in Williamsport in Lycoming County, and then we have an office in Bloomsburg as well. And so we serve, depending on the program and what we're doing, we serve Lycoming County and Clinton County, Columbia, Montour, Snyder, Union, Northumberland, and Bradford. So again, kind of depending on the need and the program and where it fits. I told Bree this week when we were chatting that one of our biggest struggles is we say yes to a lot of things because we just want to find a way. We just want to figure it out. We want to help these kids and families. I'm an adoptive parent myself. I've done kinship care and foster care as well, and have lived in this world of foster care and adoption for the past 20 years. I was a caseworker for a while also, and an educator. So bring a lot of personal and professional experience into what I do and why we do it. So that's a little about Dwell. There's some upcoming events and things that are going on right now is Foster Care Awareness Month. The month of May is Foster Care Awareness Month. If you happen to be in the Williamsport area, you can stop in at Alabaster Coffee and order the community tap drink. And a portion of those proceeds will come back to Dwell. So that's a fun little fundraiser. We have our annual golf outing coming up. And then we just set a date for our very first ever, we're going to do an annual dinner fundraising gala, and that will be October 17th. So you'll if you're part of our mailing list, you'll hear more about that information on that and getting tickets and all that. You're in the planning phases of that right now. So that's that's Dwell. We do a lot. We
That's
love what we do.
wonderful. Then. And I have to tell you, she's probably very humble, but I was so impressed going into either setting, whether you're Williamsburg or Bloomsburg. I had the pleasure of truly seeing Williamsburg, just how organized the approach is. So when you think about the transition she was talking about and the chaos that comes around interacting with the families, the space is very calming. It's a very organized approach to whether you're talking about clothing or hygiene supplies or family activities to do together. They've really got a strong organizational system going, and really a little bit for everyone, the whole family wraparound. And so I think that that really impressed me. So Jen, thank you for sharing so much information with us, and also bringing awareness to how this fits into making sure our women, girls, families are well supported, no matter what kind of arrangement they're facing. Is there any particular specific need or ask for help? I know that you've put together a lovely chart here for us to look at as far as things that our folks on the meeting today or even watching later could think about helping. What would you recommend where to start if you wanted to volunteer or connect with you?
Yeah, if you are looking to volunteer, probably the easiest thing right now is to just shoot an email to, and I'll put it in the chat, but to info at dwellorphancare.org, and I will get you to the right person. And because it'll just depend on which location kind of you're closer to and what your time and capacity looks like. So we filter you into the right person and the right way. So probably right now the easiest way is just shoot me an email at info@dwellorphancare.org. I just put it in the chat and we'll get you plugged in.
That's great. I also see you've added the mailing list sign up.
Yes.
And another thing with that coordination, please never hesitate to reach out to our group or how we can continue that ripple effect out to our networks, of reminding everyone where collaborative work makes it more efficient and connective. So if there are ways to personalize the handoff of the materials or just letting you know where a need might exist that isn't already on a radar, that's what we all do best in our circles. And so getting to share what you're up to allows us to connect those dots and hopefully, we can help you, but also open to a street conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. We love that. I mean, we always say that not everybody is called to foster or adopt. Dwell is not, we're not a licensing agency. We don't license families to be foster families or adoptive families, and we don't remove children and put them in homes. We're not a foster care agency. We really are a bridge ministry. Like we bridge that gap and fill in a lot of the holes in the system. So not everybody's called to foster or adopt, and not everybody needs to, but we do believe that everyone can do something when it comes to the cause of caring for kids from hard places or for the families that love them. And so we just challenge people to get curious and think like, what's your something, right? Because there's room for everyone at this table. There's a seat for you here. We just, want to help you kind of figure out what that seat looks like. It doesn't have to be that you are the foster parent or adoptive parent. It doesn't mean that there's not a seat for you and something that you can do to better the world for really kids that are coming from some really tough places. And for the families that love them, because if we can build capacity around these families, then they foster longer and stronger, and they don't turn in their notice, they don't quit, and it means more stability for vulnerable kids, which benefits all of us in society. So
well, again, wonderful, and thank you so much for all the effort and dedication on part of you and your team of being that ray of sunshine, and sharing with us again today what you're up to and how we can help, how we can stay connected. So I'm going to shift gears. I'm the monitor of this, so that we get everybody a chance to speak, and then we'll circle back at that tail end to have that open discussion. So if anybody had something on their mind or it resonates with you, again, use the chat, plan on talking at our end point here. But in the meantime, it is my pleasure to now welcome to our On the Bright Side event here, Becky Stewart from Maryland Land and Waterways Conservancy. And Becky, we're just thrilled to have you on board too, to tell us more about what your group is up to. Well,
thank you so much, Brianna. It's absolutely a pleasure to be invited to this group, to get to know some of the other groups that are working in the community to make the community a better place, and to be able to provide support for our families. We're very excited as the Maryland Land and Waterways Conservancy to have a main mission of protecting and preserving natural spaces. As you all know, especially recently with COVID, there's more demand than there has ever been for people to experience the outdoors, to find healing in the outdoors, for physical, emotional, and mental support. Nature has really become a main asset for all of our well-being. And so in addition to us wanting those assets and resources for ourselves and our well-being, it really makes the world a better place by protecting these natural resources. And so what we do is we are your local land trust. We're located in Lewisburg, and we work through Union County, Snyder County, and Northumberland counties at this time. We also collaborate with other cooperating agencies, including the North Central PA Conservancy, which has a broader range of expansion for their county reach. We also work with the Union County Conservation District, DCNR, DEP, all kinds of different organizations to be able to accomplish projects that help preserve and protect those natural spaces. One of our most recent projects is known as Turtle Creek Park. It used to be a dog park in Lewisburg. It still is used for dog walking, but we're turning it into a natural resource for all community members to be able to enjoy. We helped by becoming the conservation easement owner of the site, but we work with East Buffalo Township, who is the main owner of the site, and we help monitor that site to make sure that it's protected. In the past, that site particularly was going to be developed. It was going to turn into a building or several buildings and a parking lot. And now it's nature trails, a woodlot system, a stream that has a restoration project in place. And it serves as a great location for people to go out and enjoy those natural resources. So that's one of our locations. The conservation easement that I mentioned, what we do is through those conservation easements, we work with landowners to be able to develop a system of rules or requirements to protect their property. So for instance, if a landowner wants their property to be open to the public to be used as hiking trails, that's something that we would help them put into their project proposal so that it would be something that's continued over time. There may be some things like they might need to manage the amount of invasive species on their property, or they can't develop on the property. What's great about the conservation easements is that every property owner designs their own. So we're not going into the project saying, this is what you need to do. And if you don't do this, we're not going to support you. Instead, we talk to the landowners, we help them develop a plan for what their dream is for their property, and we help them achieve it. And in doing that, we're able to protect and preserve all different properties within the 3 counties that I mentioned. And we also have an initiative called the Linking Landscapes, or Living Landscapes education programs to go with that. And what we do through that program is we are purposely trying to connect the different properties that are being protected so that there's a corridor for wildlife and species to be able to transfer across. So we have properties in the 3 different counties, but it's not necessarily a big property that would need to be used to be put into a conservation easement. We have people through the Living Landscapes programs who put in a backyard pollinator garden, and that alone is a huge help. So if you're a person who thinks, wow, I'd really love to get involved, I'd love to protect and preserve natural spaces, but I don't have a big farm or I don't have a big property, that's okay. Each person can get involved either by creating a native plant garden or by coming out and helping protect those natural spaces. We did a volunteer day out at Dales Ridge earlier this month, and we had about 30 volunteers come in and help with the project. What we were able to do was make one of our trails on our switchback more accessible. So people who maybe are senior citizens or maybe families with carriages are able to access that trail a little bit better. They were able to reduce the gradient and make it safer. So that was one of the projects we did recently. Some of the conservation easement sites that we have, as I mentioned, was Dales Ridge. We also have Coons Trail, which is in Mifflinburg. We have Glacier Pools Preserve, which is in Hughesville. We have Turtle Creek Park, which I mentioned earlier. That's a newer one for us. And all of those sites are open to the public to be able to enjoy. Some of the things that we're offering on those sites are our family-friendly activity boxes. We know not everybody can sign up for programming, so we have these activity boxes available so that anybody can visit these sites at any time, pull out a clipboard, and be able to participate in a fun activity that helps them slow down and enjoy nature. So most recently, our activity is Birds and Bugs Bingo. So your goal is to go out and find different bugs, different birds, and then try to fill in the bingo sheet. Previously, we did a winter scavenger hunt. Coming up this summer, there's going to be a nature collage activity. And again, that's to be an accessible activity for everybody to be able to enjoy. We also have some other activities coming up, including nature exploration backpacks, where we're working with the Public Library for Union County. We'll have backpacks available that have different themes for families to loan out. Some of those themes include wildflowers and plant pressing, trees and forestry, wildlife tracking, geology, bird watching, all different kinds of themes. Those are our first 4 packs that we're making available. We're also getting ready to do some story strolls, which we'll be putting those out on our different conservation easement locations. We may also have access to put it at Huffnagel Park, which is another very well visited location. So in addition to protecting and preserving natural spaces, we provide the education as well. My background specifically is to teach people about nature and how to enjoy it. It's a really great job. I love what I do. Coming from a background where I grew up on a farm, I was outside all the time. My parents would ring the dinner bell, and that's when we were allowed back in the house, and not until then. So I'm used to being outside, and it's so fun to be able to share my passion with others. I'm also a cancer survivor, and when I was going through breast cancer, I was only 28, and they told me that I needed to find something that would help me emotionally and physically be able to overcome the barriers of my cancer, and nature was where I found my healing. And so it's very, very encouraging for me to be able to share that passion and love with others. And so with that, we've got all kinds of great programs coming up. I see Brianna has our flyer up, which is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. This is our program lineup for the whole year of 2024. Every year we do different programs, but we do tend to focus on all nature activities. So the upcoming programs that we have, most up and coming, is we have a Great American Backyard Campout, and that is for all people, all ages. We actually have a 2.5-month-old baby. We are bringing her to go camping. So there is no one who is too young or too old to be able to do this. And we want the whole family to come. The purpose is to bring people out who maybe wouldn't have been comfortable going out camping on their own. This way, there's plenty of resources and staff and assistance to be able to help people enjoy a single night outdoors. Some of the activities that will be included in the Great American Backyard Campout is we'll have demonstrations and exhibits put on by some local outdoor recreation groups, including a primitive skills workshop, introduction to backpacking. We're going to have an insect exhibition there. Strike Canine Search and Rescue is going to do a presentation about what to do if you get lost in the woods. And then we will walk up onto the hill at Glacier Pools Preserve, where families will learn how to set up their own camps using their own camp gear. We'll help them build a fire without matches, without lighter fuel. They will do it with a magnesium stick, flint and steel, and then they'll get to make their own campfire meal. After that, we have a night hike planned where we're going to be doing an owl prowl looking for salamanders, which are known to be very present at Glacier Pools Preserve because of the vernal pools, and also some stargazing with Brian Garthwaite from Bucknell University. In the morning, we have bird watching, nature, arts and crafts, and geocaching, which will be offered as opportunities as well. And so the Great American Backyard Campout, the whole idea is to introduce people to ways that they can experience the outdoors. So that's one of our upcoming events. We also have a community fossil dig coming up in fall. We have Nature's Explorers programs, which are for our little guys, ages 4 to ages 10. Those are once a month. It's always the second Saturday, and those are all at Dales Ridge. Each one of those Nature's Explorers programs, they offer a way to incorporate other things with science. So we want to encourage people to mix art and science or math and science. So actually this upcoming Saturday, we have an environmental engineering program coming in, and they're going to be learning about origami and why that's important, and capillary action and why that's important. It's really fascinating how they can tie engineering into nature. So all different kinds of great opportunities coming up. Ways for people to get involved is we are always looking for volunteers. As of now, the Lynn Conservancy is an entire staff of 2 people. There's my boss who does all the fundraising and the money type things. And then there's me who does all the programming, the promotions and the marketing. And together we're a great team, but we can only accomplish so much being just the 2 of us. We have a fantastic board that also supports us. And most recently, we have some newer committees that have been fantastic at helping us promote our programs, bring in new members, and search for more volunteers that can help support our mission. So what I would say is, if this is something that interests you, protecting and preserving natural spaces or educating people about the great outdoors, feel free to send me an email. My email address is at the bottom of the flyer on the left-hand side. It's the adventure@lynnconservancy.org. Feel free to send me an email, and I'd love to connect you with Chad or our Public Relations and Engagement Committee. We also have a volunteer interest form available online that you can fill out to share what your interests are, because we don't want you to come and dig holes and do all those kinds of things if that's not your interest. If you're somebody who's really interested in publications, we would much rather you be able to do something that you're passionate about. So there's all different kinds of opportunities, and we would love to invite all of you to be able to come and join us.
Becky, as you were talking, I just had to look out the window at the sun shining today, and we're heading into the, properly spring is here and summer activities, all the different programs and excitement around being outdoors. The timeliness of you sharing this with all of us is just wonderful, and truly, it's very clear how it touches all ages, and different ways to get involved or experience, based on the self-interest or needs, if you will. And so kudos to your group for putting together your small but mighty team, just putting together such a robust opportunity zone for everyone. And I know you kind of hit it in there a little bit, but your own personal experience just truly shines as well. And, being able to share and connect on the personal level is so wonderful. And as a new mom, I hope camping goes really well. You're still glowing, so it's fun. It's fun to see you using the opportunity also for your own family enjoyment and being able to connect on that level. That being said, I'll segue into, I know when we were chatting, you had mentioned, you do have this sense of connection to other women through your experiences, and that has led to partnerships. One in particular we put on the slide because it was inspiring, and so I was hoping you could speak a little bit to the REN program as well, and who that connects in as we are trying to build awareness here.
Thank you so much. Yes, I wanted to come back to that one yet. So the REN program is a fantastic program. It just recently started. It's been established by the Vernal School, and the Vernal School operates out of the Montour Preserve. They're a fantastic group that offers programming for children and families. And the REN program stands for Women Reconnecting and Engaging in Nature. And they have some really great activities coming up. The reason they pulled this group together is they had a need for women to be able to get outdoors in a way that they felt comfortable. And a lot of times women are intimidated by doing activities with men. And so this opportunity arose to be able to offer women an opportunity to be together with other women, share experiences, talk about what it's like to do things with their family. And so there's 2 activities coming up that I'd like to share. One of them is sometime this summer, and they don't have a date yet, but they're going to be doing an overnight kayaking and fishing trip on the Susquehanna River. So that'll be coming up in June or July, but a date is not determined yet. And then also this fall, they're going to be doing a women's backpacking trip at the West Rim Trail in the PA Grand Canyon. So definitely some great opportunities coming up. I think they're a great program. I'd love to hear more about programs like this because I think this it helps us build a community. And by pulling us together, we can just accomplish so much, whether it's our own healing or it's our own inspiration or being able to network and share the opportunities that we all have in different places. I love these connections.
You so well said, and love your energy, and you're absolutely right. It's about community building and networking, and just knowing who to turn to for whatever need, whether it's recreational or it's just even emotional. There's something just very grounding and peaceful about walking in nature, and interacting with it is so important for all ages. So again, thank you for sharing all this, and thank you for the partnerships in. I will extend that ask, or echo it of again, this is the purpose of this group coming together. If there are opportunities or resources, help us connect the dots to you. And then I'm saying this to our greater group here. If we all have our little nuggets of information or networks that we are hearing about, nifty ideas coming up, and you just never know when it might spark the right opportunity or interest area. So again, thank you so much for sharing this. I am still being watchful of time, so I would like to switch to Vicki with Smile, and we will circle back to hear more about your thoughts around Jen and Becky's presentations, as well as other ideas that may come to you. But before that, we're really excited to have Vicki join us with Smile to tell us a little bit more about the opportunities and programs around this organization. Without further ado, Vicki, take it away. Glad to have you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. Yes, Smile, I have to tell everybody because it's long and everybody goes like, oh, how am I going to remember that? But it's single mothers individually living empowered. But that's why we went to Smile, because it's a mouthful. So we are an organization for single mothers. We are out there helping the single moms figure out what they need to do when they're coming into our program. Most of the time they're coming in with some major struggles, and they just not sure where they want to go, how they want to go, what their future brings. Are there things that they wanted to do that they're not sure that they can continue doing? So that's what we are. We are there for them to come in and, share with us, what is going on, what is your need? Of course, with a lot of single mothers, it's finances. So financial is something that we do work on yearly. So we're always looking for people to come in and talk with our moms about, finances, how they can, get credit if they don't have credit, how they can prepare to buy a home. We recently did have one of our mothers, she had bought her home that she had rented for, 10 years. So there is there's a process with buying a home. And when you get some young moms, they're like, I don't know what to do, so we share with them, we've worked a lot since COVID. We've had to work a lot in the wellness. We've always done cooking. We've always had some kind of cooking classes, just so trying to teach moms, what is a healthy, good, quick meal, to get them out of the habit of, if their children are involved in sports, they stop at McDonald's and Burger King. That's a lot of money. Not only is it unhealthy too for the children, to show them that there are things that they can make, very quickly. So we're always open to have people come in and talk with our moms about different things. We've had nurses come in, and talk about first aid. We've done in the past, we've done many things, like we put emergency backpacks in their cars because they were traveling with nothing. Home repairs is such a it's just terrible, because in our area we don't have people who do home repairs at a good price. Even trying to find them, because everything is, the contractors want big jobs. Well, our moms don't have big jobs, they have little jobs. So we've provided tools through granting, and we've taught them how to do little things for themselves. So it's always just out there looking for anybody who'd like to come in and speak and see, talk to them about the different things that they, need to know that there's somebody out there going like, oh, okay, I can do it that way. Because finances is something that everybody does differently. So they have to find their niche and how to do their finances. We're working, the biggest program that we're working on right now is we're working towards a teen mom program. We're working with Amanda Beach at Project Elect in Berwick School. She has 6 schools with teen moms, very young teen moms. So we're setting an event which will take place next Thursday at Briar Creek Park. Looks like rain, but we did a backup location. We meet at NC Church for our monthly meeting, our first monthly meeting. We meet the 4th Monday of every month. So we backed up for the community room in the church in case it rains, because we've had a lot of rainy season, which by the weather report looks like it might be rain. We were really hoping for a park day, because a park day, it's just more at ease for them to come to the park and for them to sit around and talk and, bring the children and babies and that type of thing. So we're going to see how that goes. And then we would like to create a teen program. We want to talk to the teams to see whether it would be better for them to do a monthly or a weekly. Our moms right now, we do a monthly in Berwick, and then we do a monthly, which is actually this evening, Bloomsburg YMCA. That one is more of a social gathering where they come in and they sit and they start the discussion and they work on the discussion and they discuss, what it is that they feel, if someone's struggling or if someone's, we have a young lady who's graduating, so her mom, last month's meeting was all excited, graduation is coming. Yous are invited to her party. She got her CNA. So she'll be, going through that graduation, and she is going on to college. So that has been, last month, that was a big thing in our meeting. So that some of the other mothers who have teens coming up, they can say, oh, look, so-and-so, she's going off to college because these girls work together. We do childcare. So they come into childcare young, and they've grown up with us. I mean, these young ladies, we have 3 young ladies that came in excuse me, as 9, 10-year-olds, and 11, maybe 12, depend, in that age group. And now they're getting, their 11th and 12th graders. So it's trying to set the encouragement on to, what are you going to do? Do you need to go to college? Do you not need to go to college? Those different things. Our Monday meetings is educational. That's the meeting that we pretty well set up some type of education for them. Now it's summertime. So summertime, kids want to play outside because it's nice weather and everything. So in June and July, we will be doing the park picnic. We always pick Columbia Park because it's central between Berwick and Bloomsburg. We do Luzerne County, Columbia County, Montour. We did have a few years ago, we had a young lady from Danville who traveled. She traveled to Berwick for, for her meetings and stuff. So we are out there. So that's why we try and do a Bloom meeting so that anybody in Bloom or Danville is, they're not traveling so far for us. So basically that's what we do. We just look at what do you need? What is it that, you're struggling with? What is it that, you need? We do different stages of parenting. Most of the time our parenting is basically, we've had mothers with, teenagers, older children, they help the mothers with the younger children. We've had people who we had some moms who came into our group and their children were grown, but they were such a good encouragement because they helped the moms, like, my daughter is 12 and she's doing this. What do I do about it? Because, when they hit their teens, they get attitude, and some of the mothers are like, I don't know what to do. So it's very helpful when we get an older mother that will come in, and work with the ladies and talk with the ladies. Usually those mothers end up going onto my board. Right now we have a board of 4. I have no staff. It's me. I do everything that needs to be done that the board can't do. So we always are looking for volunteers for the children. It's basically an hour and a half for the Berwick meeting. With the Bloomsburg meeting, the YMCA has gotten volunteers for us, so we don't have to worry about that meeting, which is a blessing in disguise. We do try and get the young kids from the high school. I really pushed it for boys this year, because a lot of times boys go like, well, they're single moms, they're women. And I talk to them about, but they have children who are boys. And I have a 12-year-old and an 11-year-old. And it's like, they really could use a mentorship, because when there's not a dad involved in their life, they need somebody to show them, what is middle school going to be like? What is high school going to be like? What is your dream? Most of the time when you ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? And they just like look at you and go like, I don't know, because they just don't have thinking about those, things. They see mom struggling and they're like, okay, whatever. Well, no, there's options, and it's just when there's not that male. And unfortunately, most of the women who come into Smile, their fathers are not involved in their lives, unfortunately. So we're always looking for, men to, to just step up and say, hey, if you're a mom who never played baseball, how do you teach your son to play baseball? I have one young man and he goes, I'd love to play basketball. He's in middle school. He said, but he goes, I don't think I know how. Well, luckily at NC Church, we have a gym. So he's been practicing for the past 2 years, so it's something that's giving him encouragement to be able to try out, for a team. No, you're not going to know all the rules, but that's what they're there for. They're there to teach you that, so these are the things that we work with the mom and we work with the children. We have had our reading program since we started in 2011. And we've had a reading program since 2012 to build a library with these children. We also have outreach programs. we do prime time in Berwick, which is a neighborhood that an organization works with. But I go in once a month and I offer books because these children don't get books and they don't get new books. You know, I've had some people in the past say, well, why not a used book? I'm like, yeah, they'll take anything when it comes to a book if they don't have anything at home. The thing of it is if you saw the look on their face when you tell them they can take that book home and keep it, and it's a new book, it's a world of difference because it makes a big difference in their house because they don't get to go buy new books. You know, our other outreach, our biggest outreach program is we put out over 1,000 hats and gloves into the school systems every year. We do donations and we put boxes out and we collect the hats and gloves. And we do Northwest, we do Berwick, we do Bloomsburg, we do Benton, and we do Millville. So that's one of our biggest ones that we collect. And then our moms, we all work together and we put the sets together and we box them up and then we deliver them out to the schools. This past year, we did the YIP program last year had asked at VOTAC, they needed backpacks and school supplies for the high school kids. So we did get a YIP grant and we managed to do 12. So we did three each for the schools. And they said, gosh, we could have used more. So, you know, granting and fundraising is something that we're working on so that we can maybe give them more of those backpacks, because sometimes everybody looks at the little children and they forget about the high school kids, you know, and high school kids, you know, if it's a single mom or a single dad or just a family that is very low income, sometimes they go without. And giving them a new backpack. We did the backpacks with that you can put the computers in because we were looking at if any of them are seniors and they are planning on going off to college. People think if you go to VOTEC, you don't go to college. There's a lot of VOTEC kids that go on to college. And now we have Penn Tech and we have tech colleges. So that gives them to have that nice backpack to go on, you know, to college. They're the most things that we're working with. Volunteers, we're always looking for board members and we're always looking for people to come in and help with the kids, because people will come in and help with the kids for a couple of months and, you know, then they're on their way, especially the high school kids. So we're always looking for volunteers for that. Our biggest fundraiser is we actually changed it this year. We always do it in March, the first week of March. We always did a quarter basket auction. But it got a lot much for my husband and I. You wouldn't believe how heavy those quarters are. So we went to just a basket raffle this year and we did very well. So that is our biggest fundraiser that we do every year. And then just throughout the year, we'll pick smaller fundraisers to do to bring in money. And then we pick, you know, like this backpack program, or if there's something else that someone says in need, you know, if there's a mom in need of something specific that's a little bit bigger. Because the biggest problem with a lot of our moms that they're all working, but they don't all make a good income, is it's always car troubles. So if there's anybody out there that has mechanics in their family, we usually have a mom that's got a car that needs, you know, something done. But other than that, we're just hoping to try and get these teen moms because they struggle. And because this year there are so many very young ones, they got a couple of years of school and we want them to stay in the school. We want to encourage them. If they had college plans, there is ways to continue to go on to college, that they don't think they're just going to graduate and, you know, go work in retail. And I'm one. I worked in retail all my life. And let me tell you, I would not advise that. Hey, that's a good high school job. Unless you're going to really push to work your way into management or something, retail, just because you work holidays and you work weekends. And, you know, when you're a single mom, you know, and there's not a dad involved, you know, you need to have those weekends and you need to have those holidays with your children. So it's encouraging them to look into what is in our area. What is it that you like to do, that you thought about doing before all of this happened? You know, we all have aspirations in high school and later in life. I never thought I'd be sitting here, you know, talking and working with single moms. You know, I was a single mom. You know, I went through it. I didn't go through it a long time. I was one of the lucky ones. I found a husband, you know, and he was really good to my children. Um, but there are moms who are a single mom until their children, you know, graduate. And some of the things is they focus so much on their kids, they forget about themselves. And, you know, and it's working with them like, what are you going to do when your children turn 18 and move out, go to college or move out? They haven't thought that far ahead, you know, so we work on them with that. A lot of them haven't thought about retirement. So anybody who has good knowledge on retirement, we're always looking for people to come in and talk to them about how important and how they can figure out how to fit retirement into, you know, their budget. We're always looking for many, many different things. So if you have any ideas, I'm always open to anything new to help these moms.
Well, you teed that up beautifully, Vicky, because as you were explaining, I mean, the just a myriad of opportunities to provide the mentorship and to wrap around these single moms, creating healthy families, creating healthy communities by extension. It's just amazing what your group is doing, and I hope everyone else was their wheels were turning like mine were going. Wait, how could we connect into you know, helping support through that volunteerism or providing further wraparound or connecting you to other resources, connecting these young moms. I really heard loud and clear of how we need to make sure that you know, children, boys and girls, are having the models to look up to. You know, mentoring happens at all ages and is so important for that next right step. So, just thank you so much for sharing and for all that you are doing. Again, you teed it up beautifully to just say, putting it out to our groups. You know, everybody that's on the call today. You know, in your own networks. There are ways that we can help, and it doesn't have to be like grandiose gestures. It just has to be that moment of caring and sharing. And I just think you've done a wonderful example of that, and it does make you smile. You know, to think it's an uplift. If you can uplift somebody else, it's an uplift for all. And so thank you for sharing. And I'm going to use that as a beautiful segue into really opening this up wider to our whole group. But before I do that, I wanted to wait until we were properly all gathered to also make sure that everyone has a face with a name when it comes to our team. You know, I'm really fortunate to have been part of the Women's Giving Circle experience and the larger Community Giving Foundation experience of knowing that if you need to connect, if you need a resource, if you need a friend, just need a way to come together. It's just an amazing group. And so on our little committee that created this On the Bright Side event today and has been working on it on behalf of the Women's Giving Circle, we have Ellen, who is behind the scenes, Ellen Withrow. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, but we definitely know she's going to be at the next one, so you'll get to meet her properly. We also have Stacy Napoli, and we have Colleen Bowman. And Colleen is tied into the Susquehanna Kids program that you're seeing up on the screen now, and just really want to make sure that all of you are very well aware of this resource that is just growing amazingly, to connect the dots on knowing what's going on in the Valley, how can we interact and really serve the purpose of doing that, empowering, connecting, and inspiring women and girls. And Colleen's group has been connecting those dots. And before I turn it over to Colleen for a brief moment so she can showcase it properly here, I do want to say, just take a moment to look around the room today. And if you're comfortable sharing your chat of where putting faces with names with contact information is how we network and we make things happen together. And so if you're comfortable, please share if there's a particular area that you would like others to know that would be available to connect, even if it's just simply your email, so that we can continue to follow up. And with that, Colleen, would you go in just a little deeper dive on what Susquehanna Kids is doing to help connect the Valley?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Bree. I don't have Katie, I think you have control. I don't have control right now, but
And
as you go,
Katie,
I'll try.
we should say Katie is making all the magic happen behind the scenes. So this beautiful PowerPoint and making sure that we're coordinated with the event planning and everything else. I know we can't see Katie, I think, properly, or at least I don't have her on screen at the moment, but huge shout out behind the scenes. So
Yeah, Katie's been doing all that work back there. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, so Susquehanna Kids is a caregiver resource in the area. We cover 5 counties of Columbia, Montour, Snyder, Union, and Northumberland. And we've got a calendar of events, so you can find all of the family-friendly activities in the area. We've got a huge summer camps guide where you can filter based on, age and activity and things like that. And then we also have weekly blogs. And what we try to do is pull together information that would be really helpful for our parenting community. And so when we were preparing this on the bright side, related to Smile and connecting and things like that, I thought that I would highlight the blog that we ran maybe 2 weeks ago. And it's on mom groups in the area. So I think we have like 20 different resources listed. Some of them are Facebook groups that are on the top right now, Katie, if you wanted to keep scrolling. And then below that, some are in-person groups. And then after that, all the way at the bottom, we have just some other resources for for moms. So we actually have, we've got the Dwell programming on there. I'm going to add the Ren program that I just learned about. That's why I love meetings like this, because you learn different things that are going on in the area and you can pull it in how it, applies to you. So we'll add the Vernal School Ren program in there. So just wanted to highlight it for all the women on the call as a resource. So if you know someone that's looking to connect, possibly get some support, maybe is a new mom, which is a really challenging time, I thought, and new to the area, this hopefully could be a helpful resource. And you can find it in our blog section, and it'll be on our homepage for a while as well. And I think that's it, Bree.
I would say that's wonderful, and I love seeing a few things popping up in the chat. I did promise to open this up properly, just for a little bit of connection time, and certainly, again, if anything resonated or an idea, we hope to give you a few prompts to say, what is empowering you, your organization, your network. How are you connecting? How can we inspire you, inspire others, to continue to uplift our communities, our women, our girls, and the initiatives. I mean, the momentum we're seeing is amazing. So if anybody would like to share out, we'd love to hear that. If you're more comfortable putting it in the chat, or even as you're maybe having an aha coming out of today's meeting, please circle back and connect it to center. I hope that you'll see our team, the Women's Giving Circle team, the Community Giving Foundation team, and everybody on this event as someone to reach out to, just when an idea is sparked or a need exists. So is there anybody who would like to share at this point? Did something resonate or particularly interest you to share with the greater group? You have a few minutes. I don't know about you, but I have to change mine to gallery view. Well, I'm not going to put anybody in the hot seat, but I will offer this out because I just came off of a conversation this morning, just in case it keeps anybody else sane. It's been coming up more and more lately on my radar, but found this amazing program called Calendly.com. It was referred to me by a mentor, and it has de-stressed the how to connect zone. And so if that is a resource to share with you, I'll greatly put it out there. It's a very easy, intuitive program that pulls from, I use Google Calendars, but my understanding is you could use any kind of calendar. And it finds times that you can have a phone call or a meeting in person on Zoom. It sets up the Zoom. So it's just a really neat resource, but it connects me faster to folks, and I don't have the guilt of going, oh my goodness, I haven't set up the meeting to actually get to what the mission of that meeting would be. So if that's a good resource, does anybody else have any kind of tip, trick, or hack like that just makes the world turn easier that you would love to share? Again, either outright or throw it in that chat. We'll put it out to the greater good because we're all figuring this out together. Any ideas? I'm loving to see I'm watching the chat tip board, but we do have the goal of, again, reaching out, following up this meeting, and I'm watching time for those. I want to be respectful of those that do need to hop off here at 1. The goal is to pull us together and just, learn a little something, learn how we can, again, connect, empower, inspire. Those are really powerful words, and we hope that as you walk away from this meeting, you think about joining us at a future one. We are planning more on the bright side. We would welcome your thoughts on who you'd love to learn more about, and fulfill our mission here, or ways that we can make this as bright as possible in your week and in your months and throughout the year. So we have dates coming up here, August 15th and November 14th. So put them on your calendar. Katie will help us, I am sure, making sure that those reminders are put out. Again, thank you, Katie. And in the meantime, between now and then, please put this on the calendar. We are having our Women's Giving Circle annual meeting in July 17th. It'll be held at the barn at Frosty Valley. And it's just a great opportunity to learn even more about what we're doing, and then hearing about the groups that are receiving grants, because the goal is to do a number of different things. One of those is fundraise for grants. If you're a member, your membership goes towards a grant that supports a local organization helping women and girls throughout the Valley. And we do have a grant making process that we would love for you to learn more about and participate in. For today's sake, I would direct you to our website. And certainly if you have questions, please reach out. We would love to connect you in. Actually, I think Colleen, you became a member following one of our last On the Right Sides. So if you're thinking about being a member, or that friend of yours or someone who might benefit of just connecting into our network, the more the merrier. We'd like to bring everybody into the fold, and you can participate at any level that you want. That's what makes this just a remarkable group of women and creating opportunities. So again, just thinking about that membership, any membership that you sign up for in 2024, that goes towards participating in the 25 grant making process. So just a wonderful way to support and be engaged with a network of, again, remarkable women and really great things happening throughout the Valley. With that, we have reached 1:01. I'm amazed the time always goes so fast, but it is just wonderful to look around the room and see the faces, the names, the organizations coming together to say, how can we make life a little brighter, and how can we connect those dots? So I hope you'll join us again. I hope you'll get involved to the level that you're able and want to, and please continue to network. Keep sparking those ideas and sharing your resources. It's so very important. So, with that, any final thoughts from teammates or any guests today while we wrap this up? Again, a very, very special thank you to our speakers, Jen, Becky, and Vicki. You did a fabulous job sharing so much with us, and hopefully we can continue to support your organizations and stay connected. That would be fantastic.
Thank you, Bree.
Thank you all. Enjoy the sunshine, enjoy your afternoon, and happy spring. Take care.
Thank you so much. You too. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.